and who have stories to tell, important stories to tell. And frankly, we want everyone to hear those stories. In addition to welcoming you, we want to thank you. We want to thank you for helping to make 2019 a banner year for the foundation. We are about to end a very successful major gifts campaign, raising much needed funds for career education, arts, athletics, and of course scholarships. Thank you. Thank you for your tremendous support and for making it possible for young students and not so young students to pursue their path to economic and job success. Yeah, I'm one of those not so young. I heard that little chuckle. So as you will hear tonight, this all-important mission is as timely as ever. So as we begin a new decade, the college continues to introduce new programs that meet the holistic needs of some students, such as food insecurity, transportation, housing, and other life issues that can prevent a student from completing their program of study, which is so important. I mean, we all know that these kinds of activities just take your mind away from your studies and take your mind away from all of the things that you need to do to be successful in college. We're working on putting together programs that we think and we hope, with partnerships with other organizations in the community, will help us deal with those issues. And from time to time, we're going to ask you to join us in that effort and to help us. Now, before I begin our program, and I know you're all anxious to get underway, and I'm going to be as brief as possible, let me welcome and acknowledge some special friends. First of all, the members of the Pasadena City College Board of Trustees. Some are here and some are unable to attend, but those who are here, please stand, and I'll just try and recognize you as I see you. Where are you? I know you're here. Come on. Oh, there's White Hills. Are there others I'm missing? Okay, all right. Well, there are, I believe in total, what are there, Bobby? There are seven trustees on there? Okay. So, Hoyt is carrying a heavy weight tonight. He's representing all the 6 others. I also just want to mention that Dr. Erica Enter-Jonas, the superintendent and president of the school, couldn't be with us tonight. She's on a mission to do the college's business up north and wasn't able to get back in here in time because of plane delays to join us, but she does send her regards, and she's sorry she can't be with us tonight. Okay, the PCC Foundation members and advisors, please stand up. And as you're standing, I just want to say thank you so much for your generous support and your commitment to that foundation. And I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge Bobby Abram, our foundation executive director. Okay. How many of us, think about this, in our lifetime, with a combination of exhilaration and trepidation, have ever thought about embarking midlife on a second career? Yeah, I know. I mean, you don't have to raise your hand. I know you're out there. And our hometown legend tonight is someone who not only thought about it, but actually did it. She did. And I would say she did it with resounding success. I'm very pleased, very, very pleased to welcome to the Hometown Legend stage Martha Tolles, who is going to speak to us about her journey in becoming a successful author. Not an easy feat in the highly competitive world of publishing, but as you will learn, Martha's talent, intellect, and determination, along with her ability to tell great stories, has resulted in delighting readers around the world. Leading our conversation with Ms. Tolles is Julie Lynn. Julie is the moderator of the very successful series Beyond the Book with Julie, where she engages best-selling authors with in-depth discussions about their creative process and giving her audiences a behind-the-scenes look at writers and their subject matter. Please join me in welcoming Martha Tolles and Julie Lynn to our hometown legend stage.
Thank you all very much. I feel so honored to be up here with you, Martha. I am excited to share about you. It seems like you have so many friends here in the audience, so they know your story probably better than I do. But I want to start with, you were busy raising 6 children with your husband, Leroy, and you managed to start this career, not only start this career, but as was said, so successful at it with your 8 novels for middle schoolers, selling over 2.3 million copies with Scholastic Books. How did you find time to do this while your kids were so young?
It was a challenge. When I first started, I still had all 6 children at home. So I used to try to write the first hour of the day. If I put it off till everything was done, there never was time. However, I have to admit that I did have some very nice help. A nice lady named Carrie came most days because I'd had some ongoing back problems. However, my husband, Roy, used to tell people, he would say, I told Martha she could have a day's help for each child she had, so of course she had 6.
Well, that was very smart.
When I wrote my first book, I foolishly started in the summer, so I hired my oldest child, Steve. Carrie did the house, but I did the children. So I hired Steve to watch the other 5 for 1 hour each day. And I get it all ready in my head beforehand, you see. And then during that hour, I was writing by hand at that point. I wouldn't write as fast as I could. And then I had a perfect setup because in the afternoon I invited all the children in the neighborhood and my children to come in and listen to what I'd written. Children are very forthright, you know. And so one day I was reading a chapter and one little boy just got up and walked out. I thought, okay, how did I revise that chapter? So anyway, I worked around with the time problem as best I could.
How long did that last, that all of those children would listen to you every day? How long did it last? Did that go on for years, that all the children?
Well, you know, as the children grew older and went off to college, it was easier to get a little more time for this whole writing business. But even so, when I really got into it in a more serious way, I gave up some outside activities so that I would have more time for it. Because writing was lots of fun, but it just took lots of time. Just gobbled it up.
And you took classes at PCC. You took classes
Oh, yeah, right. It all began, you see, when I had this back problem. You all heard this, I'm sure. I was lying in bed and got so bored, so I wrote my first story, just out of boredom. And I found out I loved making it up. Roy came home that night and I asked him to read it. And I've always said he said the right thing because what he said was, well, parts of it are good. Well, okay. I better try to think if I can do some more of that. So I had heard about PCC, that it was considered one of the outstanding junior colleges in the country. And I looked in the catalog, and yes, they had a writing class. So I was very delighted, and as soon as I got well, I signed up for the class. Now, do you want me to tell you about the class?
Tell us about the class and about your teachers.
It was taught by a woman named Helen Jones, and she was a remarkable teacher, I think, because I believe hundreds of books came out of her classes. And she made us all feel that what we were doing was important. She wasn't that lavish with praise, not at all. She could be pretty tough, but somehow she made you think that you should keep doing it and that it was really worthwhile. And so we all worked very hard and produced lots of books. And Roy used to go with me. It was our night out. And he would sit in the back of the class and read the papers. Once in a while, if I might volunteer something, then I'd hear a little clapping come from the back of the class. But many of us seemed to be women. There were men in the class too, and somehow we were mostly writing for children. And it got to be a habit that after the class to go to Dandy Camp's bakery for some coffee and stuff. And one night we were sitting in there was a table full of us. I think there were perhaps 9 ladies and this one man in the class. And so we noticed the people sitting next to us kept looking at us and looking at us. And finally, when they got up to leave, they came over to our table and they said, "Do you mind if we ask you, what kind of a group are you?"
You were just having way too much fun. Were you just having way too much fun?
We were just having way too much fun. We should have thought of some clever answer, but I think we just told them the truth anyway. But this class, by the way, Helen Jones eventually retired. But this was all due to PCC. It was remarkable how much it helped all of us. And then after she retired, she had a small group of us come to her house for a writing session once a week, and we continued to all write and produce. And that was also very helpful. And she taught us a lot about how to write fiction. And her class had been called Writing for Publication, and it was truly nuts and bolts. It was very, very helpful. But while we were eating at her house, we sat in the living room and she conducted the sessions, and a few outsiders would come and go. So one night I was having a little back problem, and I thought, oh, it would really help if I could just get up and go lie down in a corner on the rug. So I did that, and all my friends, everybody knew what was going on. But then during the break, there was a new young man there, and so someone explained to him why I had done that. And he said, oh, I thought Martha didn't like the criticism she got for her chapter.
And then your first book was published. How did that make you feel? Do you remember that day?
Oh, I'll never forget it, because of this back problem, I'd had surgery, and I'd been lying in bed in a big body cast I had to be there for 6 months. And so, along about the 4th month, one day someone brought me the mail as usual. And as usual, I was sort of grumbling and saying, oh, no good mail. And suddenly here was a letter from the publisher. And before I had gone to the hospital, I had mailed in this first book that I had written. And by the way, the person who really encouraged me and gave me the suggestion for the name of the publisher was Beverly Saunders at the San Bruno Library. So anyway, there I was lying in bed. Here's this letter, and I start reading it, we would like to buy your book. So I began to scream all over. And the children thought something was wrong with me. They all came rushing upstairs. And I said, it's better than Christmas.
How amazing. Now, were your kids home when you were screaming? Were your kids at home when you heard you scream?
It was summer.
Okay. And so when they came up and they heard that...
Yes, they thought, what's wrong with Mom?
And what did they say when they found out the first book would be
Well,
out?
you know, children take things pretty calmly, really. But although one night, I was so excited about this, I was sitting at the dinner table with the children one night, and the boy hadn't come home yet, and he had to miss the traffic. And so I was sitting there looking very pleased, and my daughter said, she said, you know, Mom, you're not really an author. You're just a mother who wrote a book.
Leave it to the girls.
I have visited and given talks in many schools, and whenever I would tell that story, truly the children did not laugh. The teachers laughed.
Yes, our daughters can be very judgmental, can't they? What about your husband? What did your husband say about your success?
Well, he seemed pleased. He claimed we needed the money.
Well, I remember in one interview,
I kept handing him these little checks. He thought, well, that's nice.
that is nice.
He set up something for me in the bank. I didn't know what it was, but one day I got a phone call, and this woman said to me something about, it wasn't an IRA, but it was that sort of thing. And I didn't know I had it. So I told him the phone, I said, but what's she calling about this for? And I heard the woman laughing on the phone. So anyway, he had fun taking care of it.
Well, I love that in one interview you mentioned that your husband said at a party, call me Mr. Martha Toll.
Oh, I forgot that.
What a great story.
Yeah, I forgot that. Yes, he did.
He was always very supportive.
Yeah, he was very supportive. Right. I don't mean that he would listen to everything. Well, he would listen, but I don't mean that he read everything. But if we happened to go out for dinner, I could fill the evening by telling him the plot of the latest story. I remember somebody said to me, oh, I saw you out with your husband. You seem to be having such an intense conversation. That's what we could talk about. And he was happy to listen. He did read the first book, and he seemed to really like it. He said it passed the choke test.
Which is what supported you and helped you keep writing. Which is why you kept writing, because he was supportive, right?
Yes, he was very, very supportive, really. And it was very helpful that he was. In that very beginning, if he had read that first story and said, you have a lot to do. This isn't any good, forget it. And, I probably would have just said, okay, you're right, I'll forget it. So it was very nice that he approved of it. And he said, the brain is a muscle, you need to exercise it. And he thought that was one way to do it, I guess.
That's definitely a way to do it. And so, what is your advice to people in this audience who are thinking of changing careers or want to follow a passion project?
Well, I was in my late 30s when I started this. And I started at a very low level. I think if you're starting into some new field, it's best to not have high aspirations. Just in my case, I was in a dentist's office and I saw a children's magazine on the table. It turned out to be the Mormon Church Children's Magazine. And it looked like a nice little magazine. So I sent my very first story there, my very first sale. Now, I don't mean to imply that any sale is that easy, but that was certainly kind of, you might say, at the lower level of difficulty. It wasn't like starting off with a novel or something. And so I think that's probably, if it's possible, if you're starting off in other fields, to not aim too high, and then to learn as much as you can about it. Because then I went to the classes and I tried to learn as much as I could about doing all that kind of thing. I have a friend who did an amazing, successful thing in her 60s. She's not just my friend, she's my granddaughter's mother. And, sort of a relative. And so she had been studying art things for years, different kinds of things. But she had studied mosaics, and quite a bit of the time she'd taken lessons about her. And she'd done one little project at home, and then she signed up to be considered for a project in Napa. And lo and behold, she won the commission. And she was invited in her 60s to do this 25-foot wall of mosaics. It was and a nice commission payment. So it was quite an unusual achievement. But I think that shows you have to kind of learn the subject before you try. Now some people who started writing, they want to start right off with a full-blown novel. Well, maybe that's all right if you read and study a lot about how to do it, and take classes or online classes. Now, when I shifted to adult writing, shall I tell you about that? That wasn't quite a change in some ways. And at that point in life, I was living in Palo Alto. So I went to a night writing class at Stanford. And it was the same year that my grandson, not the one who's here tonight, his brother, was starting Stanford, Peter, and he was telling everybody, Grandma and I are starting Stanford together. So, I mean, I was probably about 88 when I was going this fast. And so I had a chapter read. It's my World War II book about for adults. And so a young man in the class said to me afterwards, "Oh, I'm so glad you're writing about World War II. I've studied about that in my history class." I thought, oh dear, I'm too old for this group. Anyway, but that was a very helpful experience to go to those classes. They were all writing for adults. And so I got a different feel for what that's like.
So you learned a lot. How long did you take classes there, and how long did it take for the adult novel to come together?
Well, I took classes there for several years, but nothing like the classes. Length of time I took at PCC, I took them for maybe 15 years, long time. But for several years I took those at Stanford with different teachers. It was a different kind of group. It wasn't perhaps as committed a group. The people in the classes had big important jobs, and they really didn't have that much time. They liked writing, but it was hard for them to find the time, I think, for it.
And so how long did it take for you to write Love and Sabotage? How many revisions and...
Well, I started it about that time, and unfortunately it was about that time that Roy passed away. But in some ways it was helpful to me to be writing about a past time that we had shared together, you see. And of course he's the hero in the book. He's the guy who's flying the plane. And so it was good for me in a way to do it. But so I worked on that book off and on for about 10 years. I had to learn some new things. I hadn't done much writing that involved research. I remembered quite a bit from that period, but there was other things I had to do research about. So that was kind of a new experience to learn how to do it. Although I find you can learn surprising things on the internet now. It's kind of amazing what you can learn.
All kinds of things.
Yes, exactly. But I could talk about the research endlessly. But anyway.
And what are you working on next? What are you working on now?
What do I have?
What are you working on? Anything else? Now?
Oh, well, also, before I wrote the book, or while I was working on it off and on, I also decided to write some essays, which of course are for adults. And so, one of those is online in an online magazine called Dame, and that's called This Is What It's Like to Be 90. And the other essays were in print magazines, so you can't find them easily, but they were autobiographical. And I think it's a great idea to write memoirs, by the way, and that was my form of writing some memoirs. I really urge you to do that. But to go back to the research business for a minute, I had some very good luck when I was writing Love and Sabotage, because my daughter's driver's lady friend's cousin had saved some letters that had been written by her ancestor in World War II. And so I was given this letter about how he had been at the opening of Dachau. And he was a member of the army. He was a commissioned officer. And of course, the letter described many of the horrors that we've all heard about in those concentration camps. And so, but the part that seemed rather unique was that the prisoners were just beyond the delight. They were so thrilled to find out that he was Jewish, and that a Jew could be an officer in the army. So I thought that was really exciting that I had that sort of special, bit to put in my book.
Yes, very special.
So then I discovered that you could also, on the internet, just bring up all the old newspapers, and I brought up the New York newspapers and found the picture of the army opening up Dachau, and there in the pictures was a woman dressed as a man. I don't know why she was. Her name was Marguerite Higgins. She was a very well-known correspondent for the Herald Tribune, and I had met her one time in New York because she worked on the same page with my Aunt Dorothy, who worked on the Tribune. And so, but anyhow, that business of her being dressed as a man then I used that in my book also. So that's how you get some ideas.
Right.
Yeah, so there are lots of ways to get ideas for books.
And
Want to hear about that?
yes.
Well, of course, the reason I wrote this one, I always wanted to write about the fact that I'd had this experience as a newspaper reporter for 1 year after I got out of Smith College. And it was a very interesting, very interesting year. I had been on the Smith paper, but that was not like a community paper. So, and during that time, it was such an amazing time for women because their roles in society were changing so very much. And so it was quite fun to explore that in the book, which I think think I did to some extent.
Yes, I
And
did.
so I rather enjoyed that part of it. And then I just liked showing what it was like to be a newspaper person anyway. So, and then I thought it was also kind of interesting to show what life was like on the home front during the war. So all those reasons led me to do that. But everything I've written, probably there's been something in life that's inspired the idea. You know, like the very first book, called Too Many Boys. Well, naturally, you had 5 sons and 1 daughter. That's where that idea came from, right?
Right. Right.
Yeah. So then the next one was Katie for President. That was written the first time a girl became president of the student body at San Bernardino High School.
And was that your daughter? Was that your daughter who became the president?
No, it wasn't my daughter, but it gave me the idea for the book, you see. And so, in the third Katie book, Katie's babysitting job, I used something that had happened when I was a newspaper reporter. And there had been much excitement because some woman called in and said she'd had some jewelry stolen. And we hadn't had any real crime, you see, for years, because all the young men were drafted. And then, lo and behold, it turned out it was so disappointing in a way. A few days later, they found out some girls in the neighborhood were playing with the jewelry. So anyhow, that got to be part of Katie's babysitting job. And by the way, those 3 Katie books, I don't know if anybody mentioned this, but they came out in '65 and in the '70s, later was classic, and they've just been reissued as ebooks. So they're having another life. I wish Beverly Saunders could know, because she was so nice to me about that first book. You know, she read it before I had sent it out, and she seemed to really be so enthusiastic, and I thought, well, she's very polite. So, and then when I got the book published, and I got a really nice first review, I still remember her walking across the library toward me, holding it, looking so pleased. And then she gave a party for me in the library and invited other librarians and booksellers and editors and people like that. So she was awfully nice about that.
Very supportive. All right, well, tell us about some of the book authors that you like, that you look up to, that you're inspired by.
Well, I always admired Beverly Cleary when I was reading to the children. I don't know if any of you remember that, her writing, but I really liked her writing a lot. Although my own most favorite book of all time when I was a girl was Little Women. I think I read it 11 times.
Did you imagine when you were a little girl that you would grow up to be a writer? Did you imagine when you were a little girl that you would...
I didn't really imagine that. I don't know what I was imagining, but I had first thought that I would, start out writing for newspapers. That's what I did, and that's what I did in college, and that was all I had planned to do. And then after Roy went overseas, I worked for a little while for Publishers Weekly. Oh, by the way, as I went along those 10 years with this Love and Sabotage, I was kept rewriting things and changing the characters a bit. Not the basic plot, but changing the characters mainly. And I had a real problem with the boss, the editor. I couldn't quite decide how he should be or what he should be. But then, in the last few years, when I began to hear about 2 friendly bosses, lyrics are sort of based on some person I've known and then change it, of course, a lot. But I could never think of anybody I knew who would fit this character. But I did hear, sadly, from a couple of gals who explained that their careers were damaged by bosses who wanted too much, shall we say. So I think it perhaps, but it kind of maybe modernized the book a bit and perhaps made it more saleable.
Right, yeah. That piece is very important right now. It's something that's being talked about a lot, the Me Too movement. So you
Yeah, the Me Too movement, right.
Right.
Yeah, it's about that time.
Love and Sabotage is a wonderful book, and it's really a peek into your life and sort of your background and how you and your husband met. Really, let's give Martha a warm applause.
I'll just tell you about my friend's book as they end all this. She wrote a book called Hurry, Hurry, and it was about a party in the hen house. And when the hen laid an egg, and all the animals came, and they had a party. So this was written by my friend, Eve Bunting. And so then she dedicated it to me. And in the dedication, she said, to Martha Jean, who loves parties. So thank you all for coming. We're doing any fun about it.
Thank you so much. Martha, we have a little bit of a surprise for you. As you mentioned tonight, you've attended PCC for 15 years. Now, most of our students graduate before 15 years. But in honor of those years, as we head toward 2024, when PCC celebrates its 100th anniversary, we are adding, from 1999, we identified 75 distinguished alums. As we move toward our 100th, we're adding to that number to get to 100. And Martha, you are number 80, where we are naming you a distinguished alumna of Pasadena City College.
I'll put it in my writing room. Used to be my youngest son's bedroom. He said I took away his roots.
You have absolutely bedazzled us tonight. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Julie, for your wonderful interview that just brought Martha's stories to life. A few housekeeping announcements. Martha has graciously given us several copies of Love and Sabotage. So as you leave tonight, there are some books for you. It's a limited amount, but if we run out, and if you want to order any of the other books on Amazon, this QR code on any of these posters, if you have that app on your phone, will get you directly to that place where you can order them. We have cookies and coffee. I think the bar might even still be open. Please stay with us a few more minutes. Martha is here to answer a few questions. If anyone has questions, we'll take a couple of those. Yes? There's a microphone right here if you want to come up to the front there.
So, hi, Martha. I am Karen Wilkins Fellow, one of the board members of the foundation. And I have a question regarding the evolution of young adult literature. When you were writing, was pretty much realistic literature, but we have seen a very dramatic change, especially now, over the last 20 years with Harry Potter. Do you have any perspectives on the change of literature from the time you were an author to today?
That's a big question. Yes, well, well, I think the big change in children's literature is that when I was writing, it was what you'd call realistic fiction. I'm talking about fiction now. And then, along came Harry Potter. And ever since, I think science fiction and fantasy have become very popular. And I think it's even moved into the adult field. There's one adult novel I read, I think it's called Underground. And it's about the Civil War and how slaves escaped underground. But it's not true. In this book, there was actually a real train that went underground. So it was fantasy. So I think that's been the major change in literature as far as I've seen it. I think that's it. Yeah.
Time for one more question? Is there someone else out there that would like to ask one? Martha, you did a good job. You answered all the questions. One more thing this evening. Many of you know Nancy Davis is the person that coordinates all of these Hometown Legend series. This one in particular was a sellout the week the invitations went out. So Nancy doubled the audience and had to make a lot of changes.